Assalamu alaikum to every Muslim brother and sister throughout the world and the rest of our listeners who follow the true Islam versus deviation or Wahhabism, which we have a series. Tonight is the declaration of the prophethood of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, which we call it in Arabic and Islamic terminology, we call it Bi'sa or Bi'sat. Bi'sat comes from a etymology of Ba'atha, which means to send for a mission. It also means declaration of an ideology, a faith. It also means resurrection. That's why in Quranic terminology we have the day of judgment is Yawmul Ba'th, meaning the day of resurrection or revival or rising again, or somehow we can say renaissance, maybe in some sense. Even some of these Arab nationalists, they use the same word, Ba'ath Party in Iraq by Saddam Hussein, remember, and Ba'ath Party of Syria. It was resurrection of nationalism by these people who were more of secular than religious. So it was Arabism or nationalism. Anyway, so Bi'sa is a Islamic terminology for declaration of mission. The Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was ordered by Allah when he reached the age of 40, which was to the people of that time age of maturity, to declare his prophethood. So the first order of Allah was to him, وَأَنذِرْ أَشِيرَتَكَ الْأَقْرَبِينَ. Muhammad, you have to warn first your own closest relatives. That's very important. Many Muslims do not understand, a majority do not know, that Prophet Muhammad did not invite outsiders yet. So the first convert to him was Imam Ali from his family, and in case of Khadija, the first wife of Prophet, she even joined the Prophet. She declared Prophet, as her prophet also and husband. She offered. This was even before declaration, before Bi'sa. That's a different story, because she had the information about the coming prophet. As many Jews in Yathrib or Medina in those days, around 52-55% of population of Medina in those days were the Jews, not the Arabs. They came because in their holy books was mentioned in Old Testament. Even Khadija, whose uncle was a Christian Catholic, probably you can say, who knew about the coming prophet. So Khadija, Salamullah alayha, the first wife of the Holy Prophet, who passed away later, she was the richest woman of Arabia, but because her uncle told her about coming of Prophet Muhammad, so she offered marriage, and she was a widow with 3-4 children also, but she offered her property, entire property, which worked a lot for poor Muslims, and the Islamic mission was supported by her wealth. So that's a different story. She accepted Islam even before Islam was declared officially. But Bi'sa, or declaration of the mission of the Holy Prophet, happens this night. Then when Prophet was ordered by Allah to declare his prophethood, the idea was first, وَأَنذِرْ أَشِيرَتَكَ الْأَقْرَبِينَ. Muhammad, your first announcement or da'wah or call should be on your closest of relatives. That's very important to understand, because later on some people confuse these things, and the family of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, are even killed, many of them massacred by the rulers, because they found them to be, as long as they are around, nobody will give chance to Bani Umayyah, Bani Abbas and all those rulers. So that's a different story, a longer story in Islam. I want to make it clear. Quran says, وَأَنذِرْ أَشِيرَتَكَ الْأَقْرَبِينَ. The first call should be on your relatives, the closest one. In those days, Imam Ali, who was a young boy, probably 7, some people say up to 14 years old at that time, he used to work with the Prophet, would stay with the Prophet. He was being raised, shall we say, trained by the Holy Prophet. And whenever Prophet Muhammad was in Hara cave worshipping, it was Ali who used to, young Ali, who used to bring the food, and he would even pray with him together with Khadija and in Kaaba also. Anyway, so when the ayah asked Prophet, the first declaration should be among your relatives, Prophet Muhammad asked Ali, who was his assistant, or shall we say a sort of liaison officer in our terms today, we say, Ali, you please prepare some food. And this was prepared in the house of Abu Talib, the father of Ali. The first mission of Islam was declared in the house of Abu Talib. And still some Wahhabis here, Abu Talib did not believe. How could he not be believer while his house was the first place that Islam was declared? Unbelievable. Even when Muslims were boycotted by the Mecca rulers like Abu Sufyan and his son Muawiyah and Khalid ibn Walid and all those enemies of Islam, Abu Talib gave Sha'b Abu Talib a orchard that he had outside of Mecca to the Muslims. For several years they were boycotted by everybody, but Abu Talib let them be there safe. Now if this is not fate, I don't know what fate is. So the Prophet stood up and he says, I have been Ali prepared the food. He invited the uncles, the cousins. So I am telling you, the point is there was no outsider yet. It was just in the family, because that was the order of Allah. And Prophet Muhammad stood up there and he says to the people there, he says, I have been living with you for so long, 40 years among you. Did I ever tell a lie? Nobody says he told us a lie. Even Abu Jahl, Abu Lahab, those people who were the enemies of the Holy Prophet, they did not say that you have lied to us. Unfortunately, some of these Wahhabis, they said Prophet Muhammad commit some sin before becoming prophet. No, Prophet Muhammad was born a prophet. He did not become a prophet. That's very big misunderstanding I want to clarify. And then Prophet declared his fate, this mission. And among all the relatives, it was Ali, a young boy, 14 years, who stood up for 3 times. Prophet declared, and he came and he shook hands. So the first convert of Islam was neither Abu Bakr, nor Omar, nor Uthman. It was Ali, young boy.